All right, people, welcome to another episode of Natty News Daily. We're on a roll this week. We had Ben on, we got AJ on. You guys are seeing the man, Steve Hall, Revive Stronger, is on, getting ready
Capping the series off. Three-day series.
Right. Yeah, we're ending it
Saving
on
the
a high
best
note.
till last.
That's right. That's right. I assume everybody is going to know who you are, man. But if they don't, give us just a quick synopsis of who Steve Hall is.
So I'm an online coach, content provider. I think that's probably, like, first and foremost, that's what I spend most of my time doing. And that's where I see a lot of my value is to like help educate the masses and spread great knowledge through the podcast Revive Stronger.
Yep.
And I coach like lots of people to stage or coaches themselves to essentially just get more out of bodybuilding than they would with themselves doing it, which is really fun and rewarding. I'm sure you guys are the same. And then I am a natural bodybuilder, like you said, competed first time in 2014, did a season 2017, and now this is my third season. And yeah, you learn every single time you go. You fall in love with it even more every single time you go. I don't think I've ever been as in love with bodybuilding as I am now. And it's great to be engrossed with it. It's great to be chatting to you guys. I don't think there's much else about me, to be honest. Like that, those things say most of what I get up to.
For sure. So let's talk about this season compared to previous. Now you've clearly made some very, very dramatic improvements. What have you done differently this time around? What have you changed? I see you've got the weighted vest on this go around, which is cool to see.
I think I've just been a much more mature bodybuilder with this. I think in many ways I was grateful for, and this is going to sound weird, grateful for the COVID last year in terms of I kind of had a run to stage and had an idea of kind of as you get closer and closer to that stage weight, you get an idea of, okay, where do I need to be? Like you get closer and closer to the end goal, and it just clears everything up. Whereas before it's like, if you haven't competed for a long time, you've made quite significant progress. Is it that significant or is it not that significant? Once you start peeling back the layers, you kind of get an idea of how close am I? So I think that set me up nicely. And it made me realize like, maybe I don't need to, I'm conflicted about whether or not I started lean enough this time around, or if I'd like to start leaner in future preps. I think I have, so long as I have enough runway left. And we have to see. It depends how you look under the stage lights, right? And with the tan and everything, that always changes everything. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how I'll look there. So yeah, I don't really know what was different this time around. Just like I said, more mature, as meticulous as I have been throughout my entire off season, planning it all out, making sure that I was in a good place, not making it kind of too long, too short. To put it in context, I guess I started, I think at the end of May. So it's been like 20 weeks or something, in and around 20 weeks. So it hasn't been a crazy amount of time.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I've been dieting, and I've lost, well, actually like 20 pounds. So it's basically been a pound a week. So it hasn't been super assertive either. So kind of got here in good shape in terms of like, I haven't had to rush it off. It's been a very like following the kind of the general recommendations you see out there in terms of weight loss. Like it's kind of followed that nicely. And the biggest difference, I guess, is like, probably the biggest outside looking in difference is the weighted vest. That's probably the biggest difference.
Right.
I was still doing like step tracking and things like this in my 2017 prep. So this has been quite a big difference, but my kind of maturity surrounding training, food choices has been better as well. So I've just been better at sticking to like a bit more boring food, a bit more just like routine, a bit less flexible, and fewer diet hacks and things like this, like volumizing.
Yeah.
I think they lose like their benefit past a point, and that happens quite quickly.
Yeah.
You guys have probably had it where you just have this like constant sweet sensation in your mouth. It's just artificial like sweetness. Or like just you're bloated a lot, and it impacts your training, how you feel.
Oh yeah.
And you just can't abate the hunger at some point. So kind of just accepting that has been quite nice. So I haven't really been like really truly feeling hungry because I kind of like, you just get comfortable with what that sensation is. My food's been a lot higher, but that I would attribute largely to the weighted vest because it just has kept my total daily energy expenditure up, which is nice. And then training just more mature rather than like chasing quantity, chasing quality. That would be the biggest difference for me. And that's just been something I've been working on for the past off season as well.
For sure.
Particularly like just realizing my recoverability is going to be way down if I feel hammered after a couple of sets, don't go try and add more. Like, it's as simple as that. It sounds really simple, but in my head last prep, it was like, oh, volume's a key driver for hypertrophy. I've got to keep my volume high like it was in my off season. Let's push. Maybe I'll even grow. And this time I'm just like, if my hamstrings feel completely kaput after like 3 sets, you leave it
Just
there.
cap
Steve.
it there. Yeah. And
So,
you know what that feels like too in a session as well. You know, that's
helped
something
a ton.
that's something with experience that you kind of get a sense like, yeah, I should cap it here. Like,
yeah, if you're getting all that kind of, you're getting decent enough pumps or that kind of disruption, there are 2 markers I definitely have been using more and more to auto-regulate volume. Like, if they're in a, like, if they feel pretty high, why would you go about adding more? It doesn't really make sense. Even if you're recovering, like if you're getting the dose or the response from training, if you're getting that stress response and you're recovering on time, great, and you're holding performance, great. Like, don't try and kind of be greedy and push for more. So that's definitely helped me along the way. So I'd say those are some key differences from previous preps to this one.
And I know you've covered it, and like Dr. Mike's covered it. Like, you can always take that next set next week too. Like, there's always time for you to take another set, you know. So
Are you still doing the Twoadays?
Yeah, they've been kept throughout, largely because of keeping energy expenditure up and splitting up my day versus necessarily the benefits towards keeping training quality higher. Because I'll admit some of those PM sessions are very short, like 20 minutes, like just kind of doing accessory work in and out. I'm like, I just, it's tempting to add to those sessions. And if I wanted to like add cardio, I guess I could to those if I wanted to, but I'm just like, it's nice just to get warm again, get out, get steps up again.
yeah, it was, so you have a walk too from the gym, right?
Yeah.
So that's a nice way for you to get steps in nowadays.
Exactly. And
what's your kind of day schedule look like then between the 2 sessions?
So I get up at like 6:30 in the morning and take the dog. I put the weighted vest on, take the dog out for a walk. But at the moment, I'm posing first thing as well, getting kind of AM shots and everything because it's peak week. But typically, it's just like get up, get out, walk the dog. And the great thing is I can do work on my phone, which means like walking the dog can also be work. So I can watch like actual client check-ins, make notes, and really make that time. Yeah. Exactly. It's been such a like blessing. Like, I can't actually imagine doing all of this, what I do with an office job now. I'm like, how would I get this done? Yeah. But I'm so blessed to be able to have that opportunity and like give it all. So yeah, I walk the dog for about half an hour, get those steps in, come back, kind of make my breakfast, and then get to work immediately, have some caffeine. And then normally after about an hour, I've kind of, I'm eating breakfast, having that as like my pre-workout breakfast. And then by about 10, 11, I've finished kind of check-ins and I'm heading to the gym. And then I get into the gym, have an intro workout during that session. I have kept that throughout, actually. Kind of been stubborn about keeping it in as well. And I've not had a need to remove it, to be honest. I think if your hunger is getting high and you're like your hunger's getting high and you're on low carbohydrates, low calories, I can absolutely see why you'd remove that. But for me, I think it probably has helped keep training quality higher. And
you had to peel the carbohydrates in that back a little bit, or
actually not really. It was never very high. It's been 20 grams of dextrose, 10 grams of whey protein. Whey protein. So nothing. It was never a major amount. It was just enough to like give me something for that session. It's one of those
I've had to peel mine back, but I mean, I've also pushed like 50 or so grams of carbs in my intro, off season. So yeah,
that's a decent amount. But it's one of those things where kind of like creatine, I would put it in that category. It's got good rationale behind it, and it's more than likely doing something, but you don't necessarily feel it in the session. For sure. So kind of kept it for that reason. So then I do that training session, come back, have post-workout, more work, like a work block podcast, whatever it is. And then normally it's around 4 p.m. or like 3:30, I'm doing my PM session. So actually, and in between that block, I'm taking the dog out for another walk for about half an hour. So get some more steps in, and then go do that PM session, come back, post-workout again. And then I'm basically sitting down from about 5 p.m. and I take the weighted vest off at that point. All through that time before, I'm stood at the desk like I am now. So I'm like kind of like a PT would be, like on your feet all the time, just because I can stand and work here. I'm walking all the time, moving. It's nice because it burns a lot of energy, keeps me busy, keeps me warm as well, which I think it's always a nice thing when you do get cold towards the end of prep.
Yeah.
But yeah, from 5 p.m. basically sat, and I do another work block till about 8 p.m., have my dinner, and then chill out for a couple of hours, like on the sofa basically, and then watch TV.
Right on.
And
That's
Ada
a
loves that you have
bodybuilder.
step targets, I'm sure.
Say that again.
I said
Ada
Ada,
loves-
Ada
yeah.
loves your step targets.
I don't know. I feel really bad because we haven't got her amazingly trained on the lead, so she pulls quite a lot. So in my off season, I just like, yeah, we'll be out for half an hour. We're getting what we get in. Whereas now I'm like, I need to get my steps in, and you're not like, I'm going to pull you back. We're moving.
Yeah.
No sniffing here.
So what's the next kind of 24 to 48 hours look like for you for travel for the show?
So we have trains booked at 5 p.m. So I get into Leicester at like 6:30. Unfortunately, the tanning is really quite far from the venue. So it would be quite hard for me to be able to get my evening tan done, like the first coat done there. But something I've been doing is using like my own tanning product to get the first coat done and then let the professional finish it off. And that works actually very well. That's what I did for the qualifier, and they're comfortable doing that. So thankfully don't have to worry about tanning. So yeah, I'll have had most of my food. I'll just have one meal that I'll take with me there, take all my show day meals with me this evening into Leicester, and then it's show day tomorrow.
So you use like a couple questions actually on tanning specifically. Do you use Pro Tan, or what do you use for that?
It's dark as. I bought it because the BNBF don't normally have like a professional tanner available. So they quite often promote using that. And so I used that for their show, and I had some left. So I was like, oh, perfect. And that actually works pretty well.
Good to know. Good to know. And then also you said the tanning venue is off site.
Yeah, it's like
I have that next week, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, are you doing anything for like oil and stuff like that? Are you bringing your own oil or what?
So the tanning is on site on show day, but the first coat is off site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a weird setup.
Yeah, it was just, if I had a car, it would be fine. But because we don't have a car, it's like we've got a hotel right by the venue. It's like an hour and a half outside of, I think it's like, or like 45 minutes, something like that. I was just like, it's going to be really challenging we also have Ada with us and everything. So I was just like, we'll do a coat ourselves. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that'd be hard for sure. Like we've had some shows where it's like maybe up the road at a different spot. But yeah, if you're like a 40-minute drive, that's a pain in the ass for sure.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad they're there on show day because they're great.
Yeah,
I really like,
sure.
like I've used them like the whole time I've been competing with the UKDFBA. They're really good, and I'm glad they can be flexible. They're happy for me to like just have one coat, and they can always give me another one if they're like, you're not dark enough. But last time it looked great last time, so I'm not even concerned. Whereas doing 2 coats and doing it all yourself is stressful, especially on show day. Sure. I learned that at the BNBF.
And as light as I'm sure, as light as you are, light as I am, like almost the more coats, the better.
Yeah. It's hard to get it dark enough sometimes, but it worked out. It was just... You just have to make sure you do the night coats, and then make sure that they're applying enough coats whenever whenever you're there, and don't let them just kind of push you off. Not that they always do that, but it took me 5 coats last weekend. So yeah, well they did like the 2. They call it 2 coats. The night before, which is just two once overs, and then 2 the next morning, which is technically that was what they're supposed to cover, was 4. And I went in for a touch up, and they touched up, but they gave me another coat. So yeah, I guess it really depends on the product, because I know I've had like I've once done a spray tan and I got like the darkest one, and I was like, this isn't even like one coat of dark as, like this is not that dark.
Yeah, someone asked me if they could just go to like a local tanning salon for a show, and I'm like, it's not even close. You won't even be like under the lights. You're gonna look white again.
Yeah, definitely.
Be good for base coat, but you're gonna need a few more.
Do you have any clients competing?
I actually don't at this one. No, none. Which is quite nice in some ways, because then you just get to focus on yourself. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's probably nice. I remember in 2019 when I competed, I made the mistake of like, it was my first kind of crack at coaching competitors, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this show too. It'll be fun. So busy, and it was so stressful.
Yeah, you kind of just want to like as boring as show day can be, like you almost want it to be boring, because if it's eventful, it's like, how's your physique going to be looking?
Oh yeah, there's like, if there's stuff going on, that's fine, but when it's like, you know, it's work stress on show day, like, because you're trying to peak them, you're trying to get them pumped up, and then you got to worry about yourself. No, I will never ever do that again, unless it's with someone who's like really experienced, who like I've worked with for a long time, who I can look at and be like, okay, you go over here, I'll go over here, we'll chat later.
Yeah, that's gotta be a challenge. I've never gone through that with, because it's nice to be able to just kind of relax backstage, talk with some other guys, just worry about competing, worry about the timeline, if you're not being pulled in other directions, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So going into the show, headspace, mindset, goals, give us all that.
So I posted a couple of days, I think it was yesterday, maybe a couple of days ago, and I just kind of said, it made me reflect on how I am feeling, and it's 9-day difference to the first show that I did with the BNBF. For the BNBF, and this was one I entered, and it was just like, it didn't really matter, like I didn't really care how I did at that show. Well, I did, you always care, but it wasn't like one I planned to do, so I shouldn't have really cared. I should have been kind of stress-free, but I was like pretty stressful, impacting my sleep for nights leading into it. Whereas this one, I feel much more peaceful. I feel much more like just grounded. Like, I think just having done 2 shows now already this season gives you that just repeated experience, because it's years since I've been kind of under the lights on the stage. So just feeling kind of grounded, peaceful, and kind of grateful to be in the position that I'm in, able to get up there despite everything that's happened, and kind of happy with the physique. It's definitely gonna be the best physique I've ever brought to stage, no doubt about it. It's whether or not it gets rewarded and kind of my goals for it. Like in my head, I would be disappointed with anything less, like quite disappointed with anything less than a top 5. I'd love a top 3. That's like, I really want a top 3, because I cracked a top 5. I came 5th. In 2017 at the British International Finals. So I feel like I should get that, but ultimately it's out of your hands. And I know there's 10 people in my class. I know AJ's in my class, and I know it's going to be ultra competitive. Like I know some like German guys or Austrian guys who are coming over, and they're always fucking great. So we just have to see, because you can see photos, or you can get ideas, you can look at their kind of whatever they're sharing. But it's not until you step on stage next to them where you really get to know the caliber of that individual.
For sure.
Yeah, I had that conversation with a client on the weekend, and I was like, everybody, you see them online, they post their photos, they're by themselves, and everybody looks great. And that's when the head game can start. That's why, if you have to unfollow people or mute them, because it'll start to mess with you. And it's all fair game under the lights on stage, because you just don't know. Everybody on their own can look amazing, but you stand next to them and it could be a different story. So
I think it's really funny. It reminds me of like Arnie, when he used to like have these, like tease the other competitors, wind them up. Like, you could actually do that on social media now, because you can follow all your competitors.
Oh, for sure.
So I did like a post, I think most people realize I was kidding. I was like, I'm doing a rapid fat loss protocol, your Himbine, fasted cardio, HIIT sprints. And so I was like, maybe there'll be some people that see that and they're like, oh shit, Steve's really bringing it. I'm not doing that.
I'm just going to keep my vest on and walk my dog. Awesome, man. Well, I know you've probably got a busy day ahead of you, so we'll let you go. Very much looking forward to what happens tomorrow. I know I'll be watching closely, hoping to see some stuff online. I'm sure Dan will be watching, and I'm sure a lot of the Natty News followers will be very closely watching to see what happens.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys doing these, because I watch you every time you post one up. I'm watching. It's really interesting to hear you three, even just chatting about stuff, because I follow each of you and follow your journeys. And like, don't know, bodybuilding is such a niche thing. I don't have close by friends like in my city that I'm like seeing and talking to. So I get to kind of be in the mix of it with you guys, and you chat to some of the people I'm also following. So I appreciate you doing this and keeping it up, importantly, because I know how hard it can be to be consistent at these sort of things.
Yeah. We're doing our best, man. We're doing our best.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, thank you again for coming on. If you guys like the episode, obviously give it a like. And if you're not following Steve, hit him up on Instagram, Revive Stronger. And again, man, kill it tomorrow. And we look forward to it.
Thank you very much.